When it comes to protecting our life in self-defense, we have to count the cost, and I want to look at three things in particular. Stick around. It's a beautiful day, and I'm out here enjoying some scenery in the river here in my hometown. I'm right in the middle of the city, and it's a bit of a windy day, so I apologize in advance for some of the background noise. To everything worthwhile, there's usually some cost involved. The ability to defend yourself and your loved ones is definitely something that's worthwhile, and there are plenty of costs associated to that reality. You're probably watching this video because you're interested in this subject and because you're interested in knowing how to defend yourself. So consider this part of your mental training, which leads to my first point and the first cost that we need to consider, and that is the cost of training. The idea or the desire to be able to defend ourselves is one thing, but training to do so is another. And this training can be costly because there's multiple elements to it. For one, we've got to invest in physical fitness training because you're not going to be able to respond effectively if there's no physicality about you. So this cost may be the cost of a gym membership. It may be the cost of time out of your schedule to keep your body fit and strong and able. If you've ever been in a fight, you know that it's one of the most physically demanding things that you can do. There's the cost and time that goes into buying self-protection tools and learning how to use them. There's the cost and time that goes into learning how to fight, understanding a base level of striking, grappling, wrestling, the use of weaponry, and all of these things. I don't know what this looks like for you, but you have to take the journey of learning how to fight. You have to partner up with the right people and gain an understanding, and then be willing to train these things regularly. Maybe this looks like joining a martial arts training center in your area. But just remember, there's a big difference between martial arts competition and real world combatives. Look at the time you're spending right now watching videos like this, trying to get educated on these subjects. All of that goes into the cost of training. Nothing will test our skill like the stage. I grew up doing music most of my life. I grew up doing martial arts, and I was constantly on a stage of performance. And the thing that made the difference on the stage was the hours of training that went into it. The stage without training is a nightmare. And the stage of real life combat's going to require hours of preparation if we're to thrive instinctively in that chaotic, unpredictable environment. So friend, embrace the cost of training. Number two, there's the cost of response. In a recent video, I spoke about the importance of acceptance and commitment if forced to fight. The cost of response is real because so many people freeze up. They fear present and future implications, and this fear is wise, but it is a cost because in many cases, the cost of not responding is worse than the cost of responding. The third cost is bearing the weight of the aftermath, especially if it's a serious situation. Does carrying a firearm and carrying around blades and self-protection tools make me feel more confident? Absolutely. But if I ever have to use these things, my life is going to change. Have you accepted the fact that your life could change entirely if you're in one of these situations? Have you? Because a lot of people, I don't think, have really taken time to think about the implications of what they're carrying around every day. But the cost of accepting the aftermath is the cost of accepting whatever fate comes to us in order to protect ourselves and the ones we love the most. It's easy to feel confident walking around with that EDC pistol, but it's not so easy to be confident standing in a courtroom, not knowing how things are going to turn out. A lot of innocent people went to jail, unfortunately. You got to prepare your mind for these things ahead of time, because if you're committed to your self-defense, if you've trained for it, if you've committed to the response, you're going to have to be committed to the aftermath, whatever that looks like. It's something that happens here before you ever get there. I did a video a while back on the aftermath of having to use lethal force in self-defense. I'll try to include that in the description for you because it goes along well with this video. When we think about the reality of the aftermath, it really causes us to understand the importance of good situational awareness and being able to prevent things in advance, or to be able to avoid situations to begin with. But it's common sense to understand that no matter how hard we try to avoid situations, we may be one of those unfortunate individuals that's in a situation beyond our will and forced to act. If you're in those situations, it's my heart's desire that you would be committed to training, committed to responding if need be, and committed to the aftermath. If you want to be a defender, if you want to be a protector, count the cost, my friend. But when I think about the evil people that's in this world, it's a cost I'm personally willing to count, because the cost of not counting it is worse, in my personal opinion. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Take care.